Now, it's certainly not enough for us as South Africans to sit back and wait for government to change their policy. There's a lot that we can do day to day to try and ensure that our carbon emissions aren't as dire as they are at the moment. So what do you say to the South African on the street, in their home, about reducing their carbon footprint?
I have to be honest on this one. I think the average South African has a very low carbon footprint emission.
Well, that's good news.
Yes, and the reason why we have a very low carbon footprint emission per capita on an average basis is because of the fact that the vast majority of people in South Africa are very poor. And because we have such high levels of inequality, you know, for people living in townships, for people living in rural areas, they have a marginal footprint. It's for the wealthy, really, that we need to start to evaluate how it is that we go about living our lives. What kind of a vehicle do you buy? You know, how many international flights do you take in a year? Do you use public transport? Do you cycle? We have some fantastic initiatives that are busy taking place. Like here in Cape Town, we have the open streets functions, which are primarily there to be able to promote public transport as a means of general transportation. There are a number of initiatives like this. The Gautrain, for example, is another fantastic means of transportation which people can access that reduces their carbon footprint. But I think really, if we're going to get serious about this, I think if we're going to be serious about changing the fact that, and as I say, you know, like, for every person, we're not such high carbon emitters. But as a country, we're the 12th highest carbon emitter in the world. Most of that's because of the fact that we have a very energy-intensive economy. It's only 36% of our grid actually gets used at domestic level. So it's really quite small. So the major thing that we need to do is we need to focus on being able to put pressure on government to be able to change the way that they're busy handling the electricity price, the crisis that we already have. That's the key thing. And we do have that power. We do have the ability to be able to tell government, no, we don't want you to go out there and get us embroiled in the most expensive public works project in the history of Africa to build nuclear power plants that will come online in 15 years' time if they started building them today. We need solutions that work now. We need solutions that are locally appropriate. We need solutions that work for people and get people to work.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.